Alcohol expectancy challenge model has become a very promising practice to prevent young people from alcohol use, because we know the prevention part is very important, and in prevention we can use this alcohol expectancy challenge model. If you look at this word, there are two sets of words. One is alcohol expectancy and the other one is challenge. What are alcohol expectancies? We know that alcohol expectancies are the common beliefs on alcohol and its effects. If you go and ask a person, why do you drink? So they will come up with various reasons why they are drinking alcohol. And these reasons are the things that we call alcohol expectancies. So they are the cognitive, affective and behavioral outcomes that an individual expect following alcohol use. So in this alcohol expectancy challenge model, one way, the first module would be actually to raise the question, what motivates a person to use alcohol? In simply saying, we can ask why people drink. Simply asking this question will open our mind on this battle on alcohol issue. We know that we have to go and ask. Sometimes you can ask this question from yourself. Why, if you are an alcohol user, occasional or whatever the alcohol level of usage that you have, but you can ask the question, why am I using alcohol? So that will start the way that you are discovering this alcohol issue. So that is the basic question. And at the same time, if you are not using alcohol, you can think about why do people use alcohol? So that is the first question that we have to raise, and raising that question itself open our mind on battling alcohol issues. So people may come up with various reasons why they are using alcohol. Right. Sometimes they say after using alcohol they become sad, happy, and sometimes they say sad, and sometimes they use alcohol to relax, and sometimes to be friendly, pleasant, amiable, or they might say, I drink alcohol to forget problems and ease tiredness. After a heavy working day, I drink a little bit to ease tiredness, ease weariness, or just to relax. And most of the time people say they use alcohol for pleasure, the euphoric effect, for fun, and sometimes to get confidence people use alcohol. So there might be various reasons why people are using alcohol. First of all, we have to record, or we have to understand why people use alcohol. So these reasons, the outcomes that they expect after using alcohol are called alcohol expectancies. Then the word comes challenging these alcohol expectancies. So that is a way that we try to delay the initiation among young people, because especially when we working with young people to prevent them from alcohol use, this methodology, alcohol expectancy challenge model, has proven very effective, and there are scientific evidence to show that it works. And I myself is a practitioner for last 35 years on this alcohol expectancy challenge model, and we see a dramatic change among people, among youth, when we go with this alcohol expectancy challenge model. Okay. The second question, this is a kind of a questioning process, because we know this alcohol expectancy challenge is a cognitive process. So we have to look into the biphasic response. You know, after using alcohol, some people become happy and others become sad. Some people say they are very relaxed, and others they drink alcohol to be active, and they become tense after using alcohol. And some, after using alcohol, some become very friendly, pleasant, amiable. Others become aggressive, violent. Some become very silent, and some become talkative. Some drink to forget problems, and the others, they, after using alcohol, they are reminded of forgotten enmities, right? They are reminded of forgotten things. And sometimes people drink to sleep well, and sometimes they drink to be awake. So in this sense, that we can see that alcohol acts as a magic elixir, that you get whatever you expect out of this alcohol. Can you explain this through the chemistry of alcohol? Are these the pharmacological effects of alcohol? No. So, alcohol expectancies are mostly learned effects. From our childhood, we learn about the effects of alcohol through social learning and through classical conditioning and operant conditioning. Maybe in a second presentation, another presentation, that we will discuss this issue in detail. But the second way, the second thing in alcohol expectancy challenge model is to understand this biphasic response. What is this biphasic response? One day a person drinks to forget problems, and another day, after using the same amount of alcohol, that person is powerfully reminded of forgotten things, right? So can ethanol, can C2H5 act in both ways to the same person with the same quantity? Now we have to see whether this is the pharmacological effect or the chemical effect, or this is what we expected or expectancy effect. Just questioning this will open our mind to this understanding of alcohol issue. So this is kind of increasing the alcohol literacy. We know that people who drinks alcohol, who abuses alcohol, are not knowledgeable enough about alcohol. They don't know what alcohol is. So that is why this expectancy challenge model is very important to increase someone's literacy on alcohol. So it increases the alcohol literacy. The other thing is, through this questioning, you become mindful about alcohol. So just questioning. One day a person drinks and he says he is very happy, and another day that his mood becomes sad. The same person. One day a person drinks to sleep well, and another day, for example, in our context, in Sri Lankan context, in a funeral house, sometimes people drink at 12:30 midnight, right? And they say they drink to be awakened. So can the same chemical act in both ways? It helps to sleep well and at the same time to be awake, right? One day a person after using alcohol become very silent, especially among his bosses and among strong people become silent. The moment that he goes home, he becomes very talkative after using alcohol. With the same, so what is the real effect of alcohol? So just questioning this itself opens our mind to this problem, and this questioning, this biphasic response, is also part of the alcohol expectancy challenge model. So these observations, understanding, this insight will lead us to see alcohol use in a different light, in a different way. Then we can see what are the real pharmacological effects, what are the real chemical effects of alcohol. Sometimes you may have your personal experience, at the same time you can observe others when they are drinking. Sometimes this observation also gives you information about how others feel. So we know that alcohol is a depressant. Alcohol is not a stimulant at all. Alcohol is a depressant. The ethyl alcohol is a depressant. So how do you feel once you imbibe alcohol, once you take alcohol? The head and body. Think about it, how someone feels after using alcohol. After using alcohol, they feel the head is like rotating, heavy, dizzy, sleepy, sometimes little pain in the head. Then you feel drowsy, very nauseous, the vomitish feeling, and you feel the impaired coordination. So none of these are pleasurable experience. Think about a day you awake and you feel that your head is rotating like and dizzy and little pain and you feel drowsy and you have a vomitish feeling, and when you try to wake up and walk and see that you feel this impaired coordination. Do you label this euphoria? Do you label this as that you are enjoying? No. All these experiences are unpleasant. So think about the real experience of alcohol. We know the real experience of alcohol is unpleasant even at the optimum level and little boring. Drinking is little boring, and once you see these things, and you will come to the conclusion that it's little stupid as well. Why? Because people drink to forget problems. But what will happen at the end of the day? They drink to forget problems, but you will find that their problems aggravated and new problems arises. Have you ever seen a person, right? Suppose that he had 10 problems earlier. After start using alcohol, now he is only having 5 problems. Have you ever find a person like that who has solved their problems because of the alcohol? I am sure you won't find it. The real effect is, this is what you expect. You expect to forget problems, but your critical questioning will reveal that actually that person's problems aggravated and new problems arise. And sometimes you drink to ease tiredness, ease weariness. What will happen? You become more tired. Your tiredness increases because once you take alcohol to your system, the system works to get rid of this alcohol. So your metabolic rates goes up. You never feel calm and quiet, because even you sleep, that your system works to get out of this alcohol. And we will later discuss how this is happening in our system. So people drink to ease tiredness, ease weariness, but finally find that their tiredness increases. And people drinks to relax. People drink to relax, but they become tense after using alcohol. So they drink for pleasure, they drink for fun. But as we discuss here, what they feel is all discomfort, very unpleasant, and actually that alcohol use limits someone's happiness. And sometimes people drink for confidence, right? To increase confidence. But what will happen? Later on, he become dependent on alcohol. Think about a party. In our young days, we enjoy parties a lot without using any alcohol. What will happen? What is happening once we become adults and all that? Once we start using alcohol, a party without alcohol become very dull. So you become dependent on alcohol. So that means that you don't have confidence on you, but you are depending on alcohol. So this is the fourth way that I like to introduce you, the fourth tool in this alcohol expectancy challenge model. Like this, we will be discussing about 50-60 tools on alcohol expectancy challenge model, where you can understand very easily. This is not rocket science, so anyone can understand. Only thing, you have to keep on questioning. So we discuss that alcohol expectancies are the beliefs about alcohol that generally people holds about, and they are the cognitive, affective and behavioral outcomes an individual expect following the use of alcohol, following the alcohol use. And later on we will discuss how it goes to your memory, how it is recorded. These are learned defects. So at the same time that through this questioning, we can separate what are the real chemical effects or the pharmacological effects of alcohol and what are the learned effects of alcohol. Most of the outcome expectancies, and we call those things the positive outcome expectancies. Later on we will discuss about these positive outcome expectancies and negative outcome expectancies. So these positive outcome expectancies lead people to alcohol use. Why a boy initiate alcohol use? It is not only the availability, right? Sometimes people think, why do people drink? Because it is available. That is not correct. Because if you think about a library, yeah, they have a lot of books, but people don't go and read each and every book. If you have an interest, if you have some kind of special requirement, only that you go and read a book in a library. Just as that. So it is not availability. It is not only availability, but these expectancies lead us to use alcohol, and we will understand in our later presentations also. Most of these expectancies that general public holds about alcohol are not true. They are not the real pharmacological effects. They are not the real chemical effects of alcohol. But actually, what they get is completely opposite thing. Just like that, people drink to forget problems, and in reality, their problems are aggravated and new problems also arise. Right? They drag to ease tiredness, but ultimately their tiredness increases. The next day you feel really bad. We call it hangover. Even when you are drinking, even in the drinking setting also, what you feel is something really uncomfortable. But we can't say that, because as we are going to discuss in future presentations, the manlyhood, right? If you are a man, you can't express, that you have these difficulties. Right? From childhood, we were, especially the boys, were trained like that. If you are hit, you can't say it is painful. You have to pretend that there is no pain. Just as that, after using alcohol also, although they feel something uncomfortable, they are not allowed to say it. That is prevented. Then you are not a man anymore if you can't tolerate that. Likewise, so we are trained to enjoy, or just to say yes, I am enjoying alcohol, hiding the real pharmacological effects and the real chemical effects. Of course, there are some other benefits which are not coming from the chemical effects, such as pardoning and self-sanctioning of alcohol-induced misbehavior. So those things we are going to discuss later. So in this presentation, in alcohol expectancy challenge model, we basically discuss very briefly what are alcohol expectancies, how to define alcohol expectancy, and 4 ways of challenging alcohol expectancy. Number 1, just asking the question, why do people use alcohol? So that it will itself open your mind to the problem. Secondly, questioning about the biphasic response. Right? One day a person drinks and become happy, another day sad. One day he become talkative, another day he become very silent with the same amount of alcohol. Right? Ethanol, C2H5OH. Right? So questioning this biphasic response is the second way of understanding these alcohol expectancies and challenging these alcohol expectancies. Third thing, we know that alcohol is a depressant, and just think about how someone feels after using alcohol. In head, when it is in the mouth, and how it works in the body, right? Just question how someone feel after using alcohol. Is it pleasurable experience? So those things can be questioned, and that is the third tool that we discuss here. And the fourth tool is looking at the expectancies and the real effect of alcohol. completely opposite of what you expect. So think about these lines. Once you think on these lines, the awareness comes, the insight is created on this alcohol issue, in this problem. So as a homework, please do certain things which I ask to do. One is that just get some people, get hold of some people and ask them, why do you use alcohol? So that is one question. So just questioning that will open the area, this alcohol expectancy challenge area. Second thing, think about the biphasic response. How does this happen? Is it a chemical effect? Think about this. Just meditate on this and question on this and try to find a solution. We haven't discussed the total solution to this. This is only questioning. So those questioning will reveal some reality. Try to understand that reality. Third thing, look at the real chemical effects of alcohol. You can observe someone else or you can think about yourself. And fourth thing is, think about the expectancies and question, very critically question, are we really getting these expectancies? Think about an alcohol user and just question whether he gets what he expects from alcohol. So that is the first discussion on alcohol expectancy challenge model. So we will have another 4-5 discussions to understand what alcohol expectancy challenge is. Thank you.